So Black Panther is entering its second weekend out at box office, and if the first weekend was any indicator, we can pretty much expect the unexpected. Now, this is all of course assuming that the movie is still going to be getting the good word of mouth, and of course, it keeps tracking on the insane numbers that it was tracking like for the first weekend. Now, of course, the opening 3-day weekend last week was 202 million. And now when we start looking at the second weekend, things are getting rather interesting because analysts are saying that the Black Panther could be entering the very rare 100 million plus on the second weekend, which would mean that the drop would be less than 50%. And when compared to certain movies like the record-dropping Batman v Superman, which did almost 70%, which is a huge record, or I guess a terrible record set by a blockbuster comic book movie, this means that Black Panther could be entering its second weekend making more money than they predicted it would make on its opening first weekend, which would undoubtedly put this movie as one of the biggest of all times by the time its theatrical run is over. For the domestic box office anyway. Now, of course, this is where the massive numbers game comes in. A lot of people are already going to be looking at this and taking this as the movie has to make $100 million plus to be a success on the second weekend, right? And if it makes like 90, people are going to go, well, it fails to deliver. But remember, its first weekend was projected for 95 million by Disney. So it doesn't matter what at this point. This movie is a huge blockbuster hit. And the second weekend is really the one you have to look at to see how much legs the movie has. And of course, the second weekend is a good indicator to how much you can expect on the third, fourth, fifth, and inevitably the sixth weekend before the last few weekends where it might stagger and start getting pulled out of most theaters. Now, since there's not much competition for the next couple of weeks, I assume that the movie is going to be doing rather well and keep on an upwards trajectory towards surpassing even what Disney said was going to be the end goal for the film, which by the end of this weekend, I think worldwide they're already going to be passing that, so it doesn't even matter. So quite clearly the movie's a big hit, and I think the second weekend is definitely going to be over at least 85 million, but how far this goes could really be anybody's guess. I mean, it could come out and do like another 125 million and blow everybody away. We really don't know, and I think that's why everybody's just kind of confused as to where it could land.